out there, everybody? Welcome to Perspectives from Solomon and Bree. I'm Solomon.
I'm Bree.
All right, and we're here just to talk with you guys. The purpose of us doing this was to kind of sit here and share with you guys some of the things that we talk about, some of the things that we struggle with the hopes of, giving you guys some perspective, some, not telling you what to think, but just telling you how we think with the hopes that it might help you.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. We're just here to speak our minds through our perspective.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And because both of us, as creators or whatever, we both love music, it's
Absolutely.
only fitting that we open our episodes up with pivotal lyrics from some of our favorite artists.
It's only right.
It's only right. It's only right. And today we're going to start with one of both of our personal favorites, Lonnie Lynn, also known as Common, and one of his pivotal songs off of his classic album, B. And one of the lyrics that we're going to use to start things off with is through death grew conception. Through death grew conception.
Hmm.
So from dying, you can be born again. And that ties into so many things, but
It
that
really
ties into
do.
our story.
Man, I feel like you saying that makes me just think of like rebirths, like not literally dying, but like having different rebirths on this earth. I feel like I'm going through one now.
I was just about to say, I know I am.
Real rap, like real rap.
So, in us saying that, before we can talk about where we're trying to go, we got to talk about how we were reborn again. And, I think
Ooh-wee.
that's where we should start. We're going to start
Yeah.
with kind of talking about, how we came to be, how we may have, lost ourselves and how we're reborn now and trying to get back to that. So, do you want to take the honors, Bree, or do you want me to take the honors first?
Honestly, I
I'll make
feel
it a
like we
safe
could,
place.
yeah, I feel like I don't even know where to start. I feel like we could just,
Okay.
back and
Okay.
forth if you want.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
first off, we know each other from going to college together, undergrad. I seen you around, you seen me around, but we didn't officially meet each other until through a mutual friend at the time. And I always wanted to collaborate with you. I always thought you were like this bomb creative who was very, outspoken but ambitious and had this like go-getter personality. Like Sam, you were like it's like you could be stuck in a rainforest and the rain is just pouring down, mud, ain't got no way back, but you're gonna find your way out of it. Like you
Oh
always give
no,
me that
that's
energy.
no,
Always.
that's love. And I mean, I felt that way about you. We met through the mutual friend, but I've
Yeah.
always been kind of following what you were doing. And I was living kind of through you and your actions
Hmm.
because the viewers may not know it, but you took that first step as a
Yeah.
creative and put yourself out there. And when you did that, that kind of empowered me to be like, you know what, let me go at my dream. And so I've always admired you and your courage and the fact that you've always just decided what you want your vision to be. I like that, you know.
If it like is you saying that is like, yeah, that's dope, but it also feels like the action was like, was it adding up, sis? But it's live. So like tell me, like, how did you always like create as a child? Like when did your passion
Yeah.
start?
So I remember really creating when I was like 12. I used to write like little short stories when I should have been doing work in class.
Fire.
Thank you, Harry Potter, for opening the door for that fiction part of my brain. But I wrote as a kid and I left it alone, kind of like, my dad
Mm.
actually is a writer. That's probably where I got it from. But
Oh, that's fire.
I just never really after high school I kind of just put things down and I changed my focus. Like, man, I'm trying to get girls to like me. I'm listening to Kanye. I'm like, that was my thing. And in college, that was right around the time I think we both got our lives changed by Issa Rae.
Yeah. Issa is like a goat for me. Definitely for my generation, she's definitely a goat.
Definitely.
Like just like how she just figured it out. Like she was posting her awkward black girl, and I thought it was hilarious. There's this other show she
Man,
had called Fly Guys, and I feel like I was probably one of the few who actually watched it. It was a show about a rap group trying to like get a deal, and it was
what?
actually her brother who played as one of the main characters. I thought it was the funniest show. Like I would write her and be like, I need a new season of Fly Guy, and but they were just so on, the adventures of
Awkward
Awkward
black
Black
girl.
Girl. Yeah, but that was funny too. It was
No, so
original. It was different. It was something new.
so what inspired you to like? How did you get started with the creative process or whatever?
So as a little child, I used to do poetry and just draw stuff. Like I remember having a book of poetry from like I just found recently from like my third grade class when I was living in Michigan.
Oh
And
wow.
I had like I won this contest of like in elementary school you had to create this hat, and I made this group called the Mad Hatters. I don't know where I got that name from, but it won, so I was so
That's
excited.
dope.
I have pictures of like me just like excited, but I don't know. It was just like yeah, like when you talk about high school, it's just like I wasn't thinking about that high school. I was thinking about MySpace and doing coding, not knowing it was coding, and just being about the boys and friends and all that. And I feel like college really reignited my passion for like writing and creating. Like I used to write in our school newspaper. Please, if anyone has those, don't show me that, because some of those photos of my hair is just out of the world. Don't show it to me. But if you do have them, thank you for keeping them. But yeah, that definitely got me back to writing. And I think I just had many spurts of like the blog era. That's the golden era for me.
Mm,
Blog era, that's a separate episode, because blog era is like probably my favorite time of life so far. And that was the time too of like having a blog, not having a blog. So I feel like I was dipping my toes back in writing since I was a child, but consistently probably now, but probably be how consistent I've been with writing.
okay, okay. Well, before I go into okay, so first, let's
Yeah,
give love to Fort Valley State. Thank you guys.
absolutely. Default valid.
The Fort Valley State.
Absolutely.
Shout out to the Peachite.
Absolutely.
I
The
wanted to write for
Peachite.
y'all, but I was just too scary.
Oh,
So
I wish
shout
you
out to y'all.
did. I wish you did. We needed you.
Oh
Absolutely needed
man.
you.
But no, when you mentioned the blog area, it got me to thinking because, of course I saw what East and them was doing. I was inspired, but just once I started seeing people blog and
Yeah.
share their opinions, that's what got
Yeah.
me inspired to start writing. And
Nice.
I just stepped out there on a limb and I looked up one day. I was like, how do you self-publish a book? And I did like a draft of like a bunch of stories from my personal experiences and I put it out there. And I'll never forget one of the reviewers was talking about how disjointed the story was and how there was like no plot. And it like really took it personal.
Mm,
But that helped me because I started really learning then how to write a book and like
yeah.
get a plot down. And it went from there.
Those writing notes, man, they can really crush
Your spirit.
your spirit. It really can, because like I do screenwriting, and man, you think like, oh, you see this progress in your writing from where you started, and then you give your notes, and you get your notes and you're just like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. It's just like, but you need it. It's what you need to grow. So I totally understand when you say like those writing notes, but it helps you. It definitely does. And
It does.
shameless plug, if you have not read Jada Gems, go read it. We gonna plug our stuff.
I
Listen,
appreciate that.
one thing we gonna do is
We
plug our
gonna
stuff.
plug. We're gonna
Absolutely.
plug that. We're gonna plug
Plug that. Plug it.
that. I appreciate that. No, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
No, so that made me think when you were saying that, like, I'm not gonna get fully into it because you tell
Mhm.
that story better. But what happened from college with creating to like, where did you go from writing in college then? What happened then as a creator? What
What
was next?
happened was I took a job in news.
Okay.
I came back home in Texas, took a job in news as a photojournalist. I thought I
Hmm.
was the hottest shit. I thought I was like, oh, I made it.
You winning.
It looks like you winning, but I journalists don't make enough. Journalists do not make enough, and it's a whole nother ordeal for Black journalists. But that's another conversation. So I got burned out by that. 2 years. I got tired of going to stabbing, shootings, killings. It was just too much on my brain. Moved to Philadelphia.
Ooh, Philly,
Thought,
my
oh,
other
I'm gonna go
home.
be with my best friend at the time, and or I'm close to New York City. All this, a lot of fantasy when I look back, and that was a shit show. I'm just gonna be honest. And so, this is about 2015. You know what? Let me take that. It wasn't a shit show. It was a lesson. Let me see.
There it is. I
On
was
your
just about to
wording.
stop
You
you.
gotta
I was
check
about
your
to stop
wording,
you. You
people.
gotta
You gotta
change
check your
that.
wording. You
I
gotta
was
check
just
your
about to
wording.
say, do
So
not
I'm
say
gonna check
that.
my wording. It was not a shit show. It was a lesson.
There
Beautiful
it is.
lessons with beautiful teachers, and I thank God for sending those teachers for me. See, it's the power of
There it
mind and
is.
words.
Look at that. We building.
Look at the awareness.
We were building.
So after that was about 2014 to 2018, actually. Yeah, I was there 4 years, and then long story short, my boss actually gave me the courage to leave my job. I was working at this company for children, but in the warehouse, very toxic, but it paid the bills. I had a good management position, but I was asking for $2 more, $2 that I knew that I was worth, that I knew that I was doing my boss's job, but I was afraid to say that. So long story short, I threw my month in, put all my stuff in the truck, and well, not my truck, my car, and moved to LA. I was like, you know what? At this point, I've been doing things I haven't wanted to do for 4
Side
years in
note.
Philly. Yeah.
Can we say this? This is all too often happening with Black women being afraid to say that they're
That's what
not
they
being
do.
compensated, man. And that's part of the problem. That's a whole nother fight.
She definitely encouraged me to leave because it was like, I'm asking for $2 that I know I deserve. And there's another thing that work politics are like, they try to tell you what they did for you, and I was just not on it no more. I was like, I'm not for sale no more. I want the shackles off me. So I thought, go for my dreams. But here's the thing: when you're going for your dreams, eventually, if you don't know money management and you have addictions, they might catch up with you. And that's exactly what happened. I got out to LA, got scared, didn't feel worthy, felt like, oh my God, I left for this dream. I was so excited, but like, what the heck? I found myself writing, but still like being in my own way too. So yeah, I was connecting with people. I'm still a part of a writing group. I'm currently in Texas because of COVID, but I don't know. I think I have guilt for not putting my foot to the pedal because I was in so much fear and was going through an addiction. So but you learn that you really just can't dwell on it. And like now where I'm at, it's like it's not on my time. Do I love LA? Absolutely. There's things about it I don't like, obviously homelessness, but that's probably the first place I felt free.
Man.
Feel like free, just like not to feel like a weirdo, feel accepted, to be around other people who just get it. Like you're just trying to make a dream happen.
So, like I told you this before when we talked, and people didn't get the chance to hear it, but I want you to once again hear me and say it again of how brave that is, how not crazy that is, how much sense it makes to go after your dream while you can. You literally went after your dream with no attachments. You were like, I don't have a husband, I don't have children.
I was out.
You did the right thing. It just sometimes you come before you might be ready. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. It was, I feel like it was me like, well, I'm just going to go there. I literally actually said that. I'm just going to go there and then figure it out. But it's also like, this time, if I was to ever go back, it's like, use this time as your time to train. Like, get in that training gym. Get in that training gym. Make them bricks. Get them bricks ready. So when they ask for a brick, probably shouldn't use drug reference, but when they ask for a brick, you got all white bricks ready. When they like, can I get a sample? How many bricks you want? You got all your bricks ready.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
All white bricks.
Like, because I met a Disney exec, I met a guy that worked at Nickelodeon, and they both asked me for writing samples, and I said I don't have it. And that's like a writer no that you should never say I don't have it.
So I want to piggyback off that with two things. First, the big lesson that I've learned,
Yeah.
even if you're not ready, say yes, because you can figure it out
Very
along the
true.
way.
Very
But the other
true.
thing is, every person who does something has a story like that. Like,
Absolutely.
I have a friend who's a producer, and he met J. Cole. And
Fire.
yes, and he had an opportunity where he could have, he could have linked with J. Cole and possibly, did some work with him. And, I think for whatever reason, maybe it was fear or whatever. And
Might
he's
be
not a person
fair.
who's scared, didn't capitalize on the situation. And then J. Cole signed Earth Gang. And
Their stories are phenomenal too, because I think they were traveling to his concerts trying to get on, I think, and like this hammy, well, it was in a car that looked
yes.
like it was gonna break down any day, but I love their story. That could be it. Fear. Like, again, we're talking about J. Cole. We're also talking about a dream too. Think about it too. You're trying to get to this mountain, and finally this mountain is in your face, and it's like this is all you've been waiting for the
And
longest time, and you get there and you're like scared. That's literally, I mean, I have old journal entries about LA. I have this whole thing where I wrote them, I'm gonna move to LA, and it was a time to move. And as soon as I got there, it was like, what?
and I think people don't think about, like, the universe is funny. It will put you
Oh
in front of
no,
them situations like, here you
absolutely,
go, you know.
absolutely,
And I think I'm learning that this year, fear manifests in like different ways.
absolutely.
Like fear is not always I'm scared. Fear is I'm sabotaging myself. And that could be not working hard.
A bar,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? That's like I didn't work hard enough for this because I was
no,
afraid. I didn't feel like I could have it.
no. And
You
that's
know.
the, like, I could play this whole victim, like, well, it's me, the world dropped on top of me, but we take an accountability 2020, and the accountability is I didn't apply myself like I should have. I got scared.
But it's not
And it's
just you though.
okay. It's a
It,
learning thing.
It is.
Yeah.
And I want you to know it's not just you. Like we all, in
Yeah.
our own ways, like, and fear is different. Like my fear is like I have like an intense fear of not making it. Like if I'm
Uh
not working, I'm not gonna get to it.
what's making it for you?
And see, that
Mhm.
is a real question. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
real. This
Yeah.
year, if you'd have asked me before this year, it would have been, being on a national stage.
Got you.
And now it's more so, I think, to be respected by like my peers in a
Mhm.
certain range. but
Mhm.
i but I think I'm also kind of seeing how like absurd the whole thing is. Like, what does it really mean to be recognized by people?
Yeah. Yeah, I
And how
think
do
we
you
all want that recognition and validation. Like, I think
mm,
external validation is one thing, but I also do think, like, as a creative, you just want somebody to be like, "Hey, I see your stuff. I like your stuff." But the real truth is, a lot of people, you'd be surprised, ain't watching your stuff, is reading your stuff and seeing your stuff on the internet. They might not even acknowledge it, but they are.
and
We're not even
see
gonna get into corporations biting, but yeah, they're seeing it.
and
They're seeing
see
it.
me and you and I were talking about that, and that's important to acknowledge that
Mm-hmm.
people are seeing it to take it, but also
Absolutely.
you never know how long people have been watching what you're doing and they just not
Exactly.
saying a word. Like, we're in a time
Oh,
where people
absolutely.
watch your accounts forever. They've been tracing
Absolutely.
your come up and they're just waiting for you to win so they
Yeah.
can be like, I've always believed in you.
Oh yeah, they love to fake big bro you all day.
Oh
You
my
smell it
God.
coming. You smell it coming, and you just
Oh
like,
my.
okay, mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
see, like,
yeah,
with piggybacking off of that, like, you got the chance to go somewhere and you were
yeah.
like, I was a little afraid because it happened
Super
and I wasn't
afraid.
ready. With
Yeah,
me, it was always, I see other people, it looks like they're there. I got to keep working. Am I not good enough? Like, I was doing that whole
yeah.
Kanye,
That
like,
good enough comes up though too. It comes up a lot. I think that also comes up for I don't know if it's because we're black and also black creatives and just like the
Mm-hmm.
pressures of just like anything, you have to work 5 times harder. At least that's what it feels like, that you
It
got to
does.
prove yourself. It's a constant prove yourself. And that's my thing too. It's like, as bad as I want to be this writer in Hollywood, it's like it's going to be a constant thing of having to prove yourself to somebody that you are worthy, that your work is worthy enough to be published, which I do appreciate people like 85 South and all of them, because they're just like, me cutting out the middleman. I don't need nobody telling me what I'm worth. I know what I'm worth, you know? So that's the battle for me. It's like, hmm, hmm.
So, in regards to them, shout out to what they're doing and their movement,
Absolutely.
and shout out to their loyalty to Nick Cannon as well.
Absolutely. 85 South, Kev on stage, especially. Absolutely. Cut the
Yes.
middleman.
But to piggyback off what you're saying, I think that's the part where I'm at now is, do
Yeah.
I really want to be acknowledged on that level, or do I just
Mm-hmm.
want black people or
Right.
people that look like me to look at my art and say,
Right.
because I tell people all the time, we forget there was a time when like Donald Glover and Issa Rae, people were saying their shows weren't black enough or they didn't speak
Mm-mm.
for the black experience.
Yeah.
And I think a part of me just wants people that look like me to do that. But I also
Absolutely.
realize if you're really good, sometimes you don't, when you start getting to a level of comfort, you realize
Mm-hmm.
whether people say it or not, you're good.
Yeah.
Because you're alive, you're good.
Yeah. And I think that's a self journey of just like of acceptance, to where like, you know what, I can't wait to get there.
Mm,
I just can't wait to get there. I'm
I'm
working
working.
on it.
I'm working on it.
But I can't wait to get to acceptance where it's like I put
I
it
ain't there.
out and I don't care about the outcome.
I'm
Because
not there
I
yet.
always focus on the outcome of it, to where it delays me even putting it out.
The other part about that though too is we put stuff out there and we don't, and I think this is the thing people don't understand too. We're in a time where if people watch your stuff
You about
and
to let the
people,
hammer out. I hear it. It's
I'm just
coming.
saying,
You
people
brewing.
people will come by. I've had people come by a year and a half later, like, I've been following everything you write. That is fire. I'm like, bro, why you don't say nothing?
Couldn't leave a review, couldn't leave a post, couldn't leave a screen share, couldn't leave that. I mean, again, that's not me asking for validation. That's just supporting you. Really rock with it. Can
That's it.
buy it, can purchase it.
And I think I would rather. I've had friends buy it and maybe used it to roll blunts on. I'm okay with that. It happens. It really happens. Like you probably
That
breaking the
is
shit
funny.
down, and
That
I'm just
is too
saying
funny. But
it
see the
happens.
balance of the audience, I love. But see, that just shows you how your book has a wide audience though too. Because I never would have thought you told me your demographic was people rolling a blunt on it.
I'm just saying, like, I've got friends in different pockets who might have just bought it to support,
Uh,
but I appreciate people who pick out parts of it and say this particular part really resonated. Like, people don't understand. We in a human world, we need people to validate us in different ways, even
yeah,
if it doesn't have to be through a physical action. I would
yeah.
be more touched. Different people are different. I'd be touched if you just called me and say, "Yo, you did really good with that."
Keep
You know,
going. Yeah, yeah,
and we've done that sometimes. I seen what
yeah.
you do, Bree, and I said, Bree, I see you. Keep pushing.
Them days you told me that, I literally was just like, you know what? Hang it up. Hang it up.
Nah, don't do that, man. And I think
Uh
I think people don't hear that side. Like,
They don't hear
I.
the side. They think they romanticize the writing journey. They romanticize the creative journey. It is really a journey of from like this is wonderful to okay, I need to work on this to okay, what I might have a fog. I might not know what I want to write next. Like it happens. Like it's all
Hmm.
everyone thinks it's just like I have this idea and I'm Einstein and it's like no, it is a process.
It is, and I think people don't understand the highs and lows. When you see
Mm.
people with something similar to yours be
Oh my
more
gosh.
successful, you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. That
or
that is hard, especially when you have an idea that's like sitting on your disk space or it's in your
hmm
iPhone notes. And you was like, I was gonna drop the juice.
oh
Damn.
my God, they
Yeah.
have no idea. Like,
Yeah. And you
and
like, dang.
I
Yeah.
think I tell people the hardest thing for me, because of like personal struggles I've
Yeah.
had with growing up. On one hand, I'm like, I don't need validation, but then
Mm-hmm.
I do stuff that clearly signifies I
Yeah.
want it.
Yeah.
And You're
I
always like,
think we all want it.
we do.
Even if we say we don't, like I say, like, oh, I don't care about validation. I don't, but would I like someone to say, hey, your writing's actually great? Yeah, especially if I was insecure about it and thought it really sucked. Yeah, everybody wants validation. Everybody wants that cosign. I don't think I'm too more so of like the cosign. For example, like, you know how J. Cole wanted that cosign when he first started. I
Hmm.
don't think I'm really on that, but just for someone to be like, you know what, it's a good script, or I had a writing friend say, I see the progress in your writing, and that made my day. Just that,
Yo,
just telling me that
yo.
from where it started in the mud, it's making progress to bloom out, made my day.
I want to piggyback off that. So
Yeah,
I got the opportunity last year. I started writing on Medium online because I needed a place to express myself.
nice,
And a young black girl, she had a publication that's really booming, and I got the opportunity to write with her, and I've been doing it. And
nice.
I'll never forget when she came to me one day. She said, "I can really see the progress in your writing, and I'm proud of you." And it
That
it
makes a
touched
writer's
me.
day.
It touched me, and I think this is the part that I try to explain to people. I really want validation, but I really want black women to validate my writing
Mm,
because it's like I write it from my perspective to
uh,
give perspective to black women typically. Because I'm gonna be real, where black women goes, that's where the culture goes. Like brothers are only gonna follow black women. If black women say this is the person, that's where people go. Because we don't choose that. We're not united enough. We can't love each other enough purely to say, I see another man doing something without hating. We're gonna just be like,
yeah,
I salute you from a distance. I'm
yeah.
not gonna say nothing.
I'm not
A
gonna say
black
nothing. The insecurities getting away, the ego getting
the
away.
ego,
Like, oh, yeah, they're good, but I'm not gonna tell them that. It's ego. Yeah,
and
you gotta check that ego. I have to check
it,
mine daily. I have an ego. I ain't gonna hold you up. I do. I
it
do,
ain't
and I
just
know I have
you.
to work on it. Yeah,
It
I have
ain't
to
just
check it.
you,
But it's not like a hater ego, like, oh, sis got that new deal, blah, blah. What about me? Like, I've never been that. What about me? Because the thing is, everybody's journey different. And when your time happens, your time happens. What I need to
Exactly.
hate for? I need to support. That's another black man or a black woman getting a deal.
That's it. And I think that's the other part of it. I think, and I'm not saying black women are perfect, but
No,
they're
no.
used to rooting for people and it not be them all the time.
Absolutely.
Like Taraji Henson gonna see Viola Davis win and be like, I won.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna clap for you. And
absolutely.
brothers, we gonna sometimes be like, salute, but I can't dap him up though. Salute. Or I'm gonna
Yeah,
dap
like
him
I
up, but
have
I can't say it.
right. I feel like y'all have like these ego competitions, like, and we be thinking it, and we be, and I would just be like, they don't see these women. Some of these women don't see how they're being used as like a competition right now. But that's another story for another time. It's like you think they're thinking like, oh, he's showing off his woman. I'm like, no, that's just that ego stroke competition, you know.
Man, and every artist, like I feel like, my brother said it to me. He's like, all artists got egos. We all feel like what we gotta say is more
Is
important than
more
the other
important.
person.
And now I'm what's been missing. You know, I was just listening to Looking for Trouble
Oh man, he killed that.
today. Cole.
You've
He
been
had some
sleeping on the one that you was dreaming about.
literally listen.
Mm, yes, God. I
That verse,
was playing that
that
verse
verse.
like 20 times. I was like,
Man, when
you
it first
talking
came
about
out,
me?
I kept running it back, running it back, running it back.
Man, and to tie into that, you could tell in the beginning we knew he was good,
Oh
but he was
yeah.
like,
He a
I'm trying to
star.
prove to y'all that I need to
Yeah.
be on their level.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I feel like from when he did that BET Awards and they
Hmm.
clowned him on Twitter for having the same outfit as someone else, I feel like I feel like he had a moment of just like almost like a light bulb went off, like, this ain't me. Like, what is this? And then
Hmm.
when Born Center came out, I was like, all right, your boy been feeling some way, and he gonna let y'all know how he been feeling. Yeah,
Man,
Born Center was like, yeah.
I
It was,
told
yeah,
people, we talked about this
he
off
was
air, and I
pissed.
told you that's his best work to me because that's his peak vulnerability. He put his
He was
whole
super honest.
feelings and all his honesty in that. And you could tell he was like, I kind of don't want to be famous because I'm losing my
Mm-mm.
identity,
Yeah,
but I don't want to be unknown.
yeah, yeah, and Man, you tying it in because I have those too as a creative. I have these random moments where I want to disappear. I just want to disappear off
Mm.
social media and
Yep, me
get my
too.
head into like my writing or get my head into like just focusing on myself or what just is good for my soul. And I find myself right back on, right back on. And
You know,
when you say that, it makes me think about Cole's interview of just like how like he knows that he has to, stay in tune with what's going on, but just like that freedom of also not knowing what's going on.
and see, the hard part when you haven't blown yet, like Cole, is because you feel like when you're not there, you're not working. And
Yeah.
I was telling my fiance, I'm in a weird place. Like if I'm not doing something, I feel like I'm wasting. But you're
Mm,
not.
yeah.
But you
I've
you don't
always
know,
felt that.
and it's like if you're not on social, then it's like how am I not expressing myself and
Right.
branding myself? And it's like,
Right.
but you don't need to all the time.
She's right. But you feel like you have to. I totally agree with that, especially if you have a blog, you have a podcast, you have, your writing, selling your books, selling your merch. Jada Jim's merch too, by the way.
Ha, plug it
Um
in.
you got the shirt on, plug it.
Had to rock the shirt. Had to rock the
Go ahead and
shirt.
show him. Go ahead and
Had to rock the
show him.
shirt. No, no.
Um,
But no,
yeah,
that's a
that's
part
very
of it.
true.
And because I remember when you and I were trying to link for the viewers, you and I were trying to link, and Bree was off Twitter. I was like, oh no, she's gone.
Yeah. Oh, I'll
God.
disappear quick. Yeah. I don't know what that is. I just got a therapist yesterday. So I'm going to definitely ask her, like, what is that? Like, I just have these moments where it's like, oh, I'm checking in with my friends. I'm giggling. I'm laughing, having a good old time on the internet. And then I have these moments where I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to disappear. It's just too much.
I think it's just hard with a weapon like that. It's a weapon because
Mm-hmm.
it's like sometimes it's very therapeutic because it's such good laughs and you can just laugh.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Especially
And then
Twitter.
Twitter, Twitter is
Twitter is
unmatched.
unmatched.
Like I'll delete Facebook and just keep Twitter.
Oh yeah. I
Sure,
don't even
no
have
problem.
Facebook no more. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But with Twitter, it's hard because you see some very great things, but you see the toxic thing. And as a
Oh,
creator, it's
absolutely.
kind of hard because it's a good place to connect with other creatives.
Absolutely.
But where I've been at the weird place, and I guess this ties into like us talking. I've been in a weird place of what I say isn't always a full reflection of who I am,
Mm,
but we're in a time where what you say in 140 characters is who
yeah.
you are.
Yeah, because you don't let some clips off on Twitter, and I'm like, yo. I'd
Yo,
be like, I was like, but I do get it. Like, I get what he's saying.
yo.
I like know you, but I'm like, yo, he just let a clip off.
The part that's crazy, I literally be having a great day and I say some inflammatory stuff. It'd be like, just had me a cookie, watching a movie with my fiance, and I just be like, da, 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 da. And then folk are just, and it's crazy because you'll see that you be like, yo, you really wild.
Yo, it's not, but it makes sense though. It's just how you word it. It's like you be letting clips out. But it
But
was
you
funny
do
too.
too.
Had I not, honestly though, I think like how people try to judge you off not knowing you. Honestly, sometimes some of the clips you let off, I would think people would be shocked that you had a fiance, like real rap.
Oh, real talk. And I try to keep her away from it because I know that, but on a not funny but a very serious moment, like this year
Yeah.
alone, I think I almost like killed that, but it's all good. But
What?
I had a so what happened, this is why I gotta get off Facebook.
Oh.
But so what happened was on Facebook, normally I'm pretty good at wording what I meant better, but I just said I used a poor choice of words.
Cause
Basically,
Facebook give you more characters to use now
oh, it
with
does.
pictures
And
and
see,
video.
here was the thing. So I had been on Twitter reading a lot of academics, and they were pointing at a lot of research about
Mm,
you
what
know
was it about?
issues that black men and black women go through. And
Oh,
so peep this. So I say I would post interviews and research that would show, despite y'all saying negative things about black
yeah,
men and black women, statistically these things aren't true. These are just like generalizations. And nobody would say nothing. They'd just let it go.
yeah.
So I got on there and just in a moment of Twitter fingers, blah blah blah. I was like, man, I get tired of hearing these like dynamics of Black women being oppressed when I know that it's bigger than just that. And when I
Oh,
said it, I was like, oh, shit, I didn't think that out
oh.
fully. Fuck,
But
that's
it
not
was
what I
like,
meant.
you press it, enter to
And I
post it.
sent it, and I was like, oh shit, this is the one time I didn't think. But oh well. So I sat there and it was just like you just heard. Oh dang! And you know,
Like,
normally I live for that. I'm like, oh, bet, let's get in. But this time I was like, oh shoot, and it was wild because of course, two young ladies we went to school with. Well, one of
yeah.
the young ladies we went to school with. She kind of was like, good to know where you stand on this issue.
I love when people do
I
that.
was like,
I
yo,
love when people do that. I am
yo.
standing on that issue. It's my opinion. Again, this is Perspectives with Sam and
And
Bree.
Bree, that's it.
Solomon
And
and Bree.
it's cool. And it's crazy because in my head, I was like, you have my phone number. You could call me and ask me what I meant.
Oh, that's a separate. Oh, period. You
But
could have
okay.
called me if you felt so. Okay,
But
continue.
you
Sorry,
didn't do
fine.
that.
My bad.
And it was crazy because when people were saying what they were saying, I was just shocked at like the people that I may have known who
Yeah.
just was like, oh hell yeah, this is the moment. He getting fired up right now.
Dang, did you have
He trying to
reposted like comments?
that was a long thread. That was like probably like
Really?
150 comments. I was like, yo, they was on my, and I was saying stuff.
Yo,
They were saying stuff.
no.
Some brothers was jumping in, some sisters was jumping in. It got real, and it, and it was crazy because I felt so bad afterwards. But somebody I knew personally was like, "Is this what you meant to say? You meant to say it's fatiguing hearing about the negativity that
That's
affects
somebody
Black
who
women."
know perspectives
I
and
said,
know your
"Yes,
character. Yeah.
yes." And but then what it left me with, and I think the hardest thing is, I don't like being misunderstood, but
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
understanding.
Feel you on that. Do you not like being misunderstood, but feel like you are misunderstood? Because I feel like I've always been misunderstood.
Yep.
Always. And I also feel like some creatives have that chip on the shoulder to be like, oh, I'm gonna make you understand me when I make it.
And see that is part of it. That and I think that's a big part of like my motivation. And I've had my mom and other people, other women in my life say, look, you got talent, but your heart got to be in the right place for you to win. You can't want to prove people wrong. And I'd be like, but
Yeah.
it feels so good. It feels
Yeah,
so
that ego.
good.
Yeah. No,
That
it's true.
ego.
It'll just like that ego will make you feel good. It'll make you feel like complete worthless
It
too,
will.
because it'll drain you out. It will drain you.
And I'm not gonna keep, just
I
hammering at
have
it,
to
but I know
ask
you've
you. I
been
have to
through it.
ask you what did your fiance say when she saw that clip?
Oh Lord.
That's what
Woo!
matters. I know she
Yo,
was probably in the kitchen like, do I know? Is this my man?
yo,
Was it artists like to do that. My profile was hacked. Was it hacked? Like, I'm confused. Is
you
this the
know,
same man I'm with? I'm confused.
I think the place where we're at that's kind of weird is she doesn't always understand like why I'm so vocal about things,
Yeah.
but she feels like she understands like the heart of me as a good person. But she
Yeah.
will readily admit to me, she'll be like, you just gotta learn not to say certain stuff because you're gonna mess up what you're trying to get for
Yeah.
yourself.
Even
She's
if
like
you
a
mean well, yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think she's one of the people that's helped me realize just to not post so much about myself and to intentionally protect myself as hard as it is, because from myself,
Yeah. Ooh.
you know,
That's a bar.
I'm just saying, because you know how it is as a creative, you want your life to be like an open
Yeah.
diary, but
Yeah. I have to catch
people,
myself on that too. That's funny you say because I'm like, oh, I want to share my journey and how where I'm at right now. But then I'm like, oh, but I also don't want to tell all my business and people to be like, Bree,
Mhm.
girl, you was really going through it. So it's like, I don't know. I just try to think like, is this my ego wanting to talk or is this God using me to be an
Mm.
example? So I'm just there right there too. Like, what is too much and what needs to
you
just
know,
say.
from what I've seen with you though, you're not really one that overshares, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that you've went through that you're humble
Yeah.
about that
Absolutely.
helps other people though.
Well, I think for me it's like if I don't have it, I don't have it. Like, do you know how hard it is to keep a who to lie. Like, imagine if I went to LA and told this whole story about how I'm lit and I'm doing all this stuff. Like, were there great moments? Absolutely. Did I meet people? Absolutely. Were I in certain rooms? Absolutely. But to be like, oh, life is lit. Like, no, I was struggling. Shoot, I worked at a place that I never thought I would. Like, I have a degree, so my ego was bruised when I had to humbly apply to Chipotle and was working at Chipotle for almost a year.
Mm.
You know what
I
that
know
does
that
to
food
my
was
ego?
great
I
though.
told you I have ego.
I know
So
that
here it
food
is,
was
a
good though.
person with ego working at, let me not say that place, food place. I need to correct that. I don't want to get sued. But working at this food place, and yeah, I just never thought that for my life. But when you move in fear, when you don't think you're worthy and don't do that self work, you can end up anywhere.
Mm.
You can end up in a crack house and not know why you there. It happens.
You
And
know,
so I've just always been that person of like, yo, I ain't got no time to front. If I don't got it, bro, I don't got it.
and that's one of the things, like when I was talking to you, I appreciated you saying that because we don't want to admit it, but like sometimes
Absolutely not.
when we went to school, we were like, I got a degree. Like I don't, this is
Yeah.
beneath me, or this is
Yes, I
below
thought it was
me.
totally beneath me. I was like, food restaurant. Why would I work at a food restaurant? I got a degree. I got experience in media, but it's also like, yeah, but you're not writing. You out here now. You're not applying
Mm.
yourself. You're not applying to the medium jobs. You applied to two and then get a yes. So then you just said, the heck with it. I got to make money. And that's the other thing too. I was in flight or fight mode and that living in scarcity mode. I wasn't living in abundance. I just knew like
Mm.
one thing about me. I knew how to hustle and how to make some money.
Mm.
But it didn't help me being in LA in the place where now that I could network and figure it out. People were even trying to help me find jobs. And I was like, no, that pride too. No, I'm cool. But kept clocking in at this food place, wanting something to change. And that's, again, insanity is what? Doing the same thing over and over, thinking something gonna
Expecting
change.
different results.
I kept clocking into that place, wondering like, why is life still like this? Because you're not doing the self-work. You're not applying yourself. We gotta call ourselves out on our shit, man. And that's
you was
where I'm
preaching.
at. That's just where I'm at. I gotta call myself out on my stuff. I can't sit up
You
here.
was preaching right now.
I've done the mask. I've done the facade. I've done the front. I've done the let me act like life is sweet. Life is beautiful. Life is grateful. You know, to be able to breathe, to be able to see another day. But I'm not gonna sit up here in front like, oh, I'm out here. I'm getting it, y'all. I'm out here. Like I done made it, y'all. I don't know y'all. No, it's very real. And also too, there's a big illusion in LA. Don't get sucked into that. Some of your faves be struggling too, and y'all wouldn't know because they're putting on a facade. But that's their business. They don't want to be free, but freedom for me is to be honest about my stuff. Like, I ain't got it, bro. I mean, struggling. I'm so grateful that it didn't get so bad to where I was living out my car, but damn near. That's why when I see somebody homeless, if I could give, I give. And I used to be like, oh, I don't know if I should give because like, what they gonna do with the money? That's not my business. If they decide to go feed their addiction with that, that's their journey. But as long as my intention is to give and to do my part, are pure, that's what matters. Because guess what? That could easily be any one of us. I'm just really on like, I just want to create, spread love and help my fellow Black creatives. Like if they just like have this hub of like, but it can't be about self too. It really can't. And we get caught up on that too. I've been caught up on that too of like self, especially, you know, with insecurities of like, I gotta make it. I gotta prove myself. That was another thing for me too. I had to question myself. Why are you writing this? Are you writing so you can hopefully get that validation and they make you feel like you're worthy and you're enough? And once again, you're putting validation in people's hands and to say, look at me, bullies, look at me, men who didn't want to give me the time of day. I'm lit now. If that's the reason why, don't waste your time because you're going to go on a journey where God is going to put you on what? Flat on your face. I've been rock bottom 2-3 times. I got the lesson finally. I got it. I got it.
You literally just preached to me.
I got the lesson. No, it's real, but it's that work. It's that self-work. Again, I am a person who deals with this ego and it takes me daily to check it. like check it. Just as simple as someone like disrespecting you. It's like, yeah, I could bark back and talk, but it's like, for what? For what? What I get out of that? I went on a whole tangent, but
Nah,
I
it was
just felt like
needed,
it
but
had to shake because it's just like I just don't have it in me to fake, and that's all I see a lot on the internet. It's just this whole facade. Everything is also a aesthetic. Like, can we just kick it at the park without it being something? Take your photos, have it, enjoy yourself. But it's also about intentions, like you said. If the intentions is purely to go get a photo shoot on, are we really enjoying ourselves?
no. You
Yeah.
really just said a lot in there, and like what you said, one of the things you said to me has stuck with me the longest. Like, if someone had to tell me that, because with you went through the experience. I
Mm-hmm.
basically had like a spiritual guide in a sense.
Mm.
Somebody I used to talk to who basically would just chop my ego up for me and
Yeah.
like serve it back to me.
Yeah.
And one of the things she said, she was like, like what's your intention when you're doing this, Sam? She's
Yep.
like, what do you want from this? Is this just for you? And she would hear me
Mm-hmm.
talk. She's like, God, your ego is so massive.
Mine is
You know
listen,
what I'm saying?
massive,
And she,
massive.
I'll never forget one thing she said. She said, I hate to see somebody stopping their own self from being successful. She was like,
Woo! That's so real.
she just said it. She was like,
So real.
you want this thing and you're talented, but you're stopping yourself because your intentions are like not pure.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think about, we opened it with Common. It made me think about something Common said in one of his songs. He was like, you could have got it if you never would have sweated. Like,
Oh, yeah.
we put so
The
much
outcome.
attention. Exactly. Like
The
when you just do the
outcome.
work, it
Yeah.
comes.
Yeah.
And the universe isn't dumb. If you
No.
really don't want something, it's
Yeah.
not coming because of that. We'd be like, I want to be famous. But inside, part of you is like, I don't really want to be famous.
No.
I just don't want to feel like I'm not important.
Yep. I
There's
agree.
a difference. There's a
I
difference.
agree. I agree.
You
I
know,
agree. Do you want fame?
uh I thought I did. But I where I'm at now is just if I could sustain myself off my art,
Yeah, that's me.
that's more important because fame comes with a lot of stuff that I'm
Yeah.
count like when I look at how I am and how fame is, I don't even like being around people like that sometimes.
Yeah. I feel like we have similarities with me, like together, because like I don't know how to say this. Like, I like people just like Kanye say, but I don't like
I don't
people.
like people.
And like, I love being around human interaction, but I also love replenishing myself too and giving myself time. And that's so important to give yourself some time too,
It
instead of
is.
just giving all to people. So I totally feel you on that. I definitely don't want fame. I'm totally agreeing with you of just like being able to sustain myself off my gifts, you know? And plus, I like privacy.
Yes.
Privacy. I love privacy. So
Yes.
like, because also the fame now is like you could be famous with what? Fame has even changed. It's a total currency now. Like fame used to come with money attached to it. It don't even come with that.
it's
Ain't
not
that
really
wild?
it's not really worth it no more.
That's wild, right?
Like I'll say this. While his stand-up wasn't funny per se, the realest thing that Kevin Hart said, he said, y'all have made the best job in the world not be fun no more. He's like, being famous used to really be fun. It's not
Yeah,
really fun anymore. He said, we're the
yeah,
weird people now. I was like, yeah, y'all are.
yeah. Another quote that stick with me, especially when I was in LA, just like that whole dream. And what sticks with me is on what is it? I think it's the first song on To Pimp a Butterfly, where
Mm.
Dre is saying it's easy to get it. The hard
Woo,
part is keeping it.
woo.
Because
There it is.
everybody flashed the Birkin bags and the houses and how much, thank you God for this, thank you God for that. Well, sometimes it's scamming, sometimes it's not, but that's not my business. That's not my business.
Clip, Kevin. Give me
But
clip.
the point of it, I always keep that in my mind because it's like, even if God bless me to get to a certain level to where I'm like really good, the hard part is keeping it. You got to keep going. What everyone think, oh, I didn't got that hit. we good. It's like, nah, you gotta
It's even harder now.
get play after play. You think you saw one script and that's it? No. Again, that's why I said you need to have I holding myself accountable. I need to have my bricks ready. Because when they ask for one, I'm gonna keep giving it to them.
And this is what you said made me think of two things.
Yeah.
The first thing is I will never forget Lauryn Hill in one of her interviews. She literally said, "We always ask God, like, God, give me a chance to be on this big stage and praise your name." And she said, "But what if God's glory came from you being completely at the bottom, being dragged through the mud?" She said, "We don't want that."
Listen, when I tell you rock bottom, I was calling out God's name, like screaming his name. I was like, all right, I'm done. It really took me to get hit by a car walking at night to be like, all right, Jesus. I heard you, God. All right, I'm gonna get it together. I'm telling you. So I understand. I understand that. And then it's even more crazy. We didn't have this whole discussion. We have everything we need.
Yep, we do. We do.
It's crazy for me to say that, but we do. We have everything we need.
We got love. We have health. We eating every day. We got something to drink every day. We got the opportunity to create every day. Yeah. We still got our mental faculties. Like, yeah. And I really be telling myself that. I'd be like, man, you mad ungrateful. I'm telling you, like, you mad ungrateful sometimes.
Yeah. But it's like you just still want to, you just want to be paid for your gifts.
You know what really?
Like, why else would God give me this gift? You have that, and then you find yourself trying to do different plans and getting in the way, and you're just like, but God, you gave me this gift. Like, why wouldn't it work out? When I could just put my head down and write, but I'm too busy again thinking about the outcome.
The hardest thing lately has been me seeing some things manifest, and then inside asking myself, did I really want this?
Oh, you know what? That's one of my fears, actually. If I were to become this writer of selling these scripts of like, this is what I wanted, I do have that fear.
Like, and this is where
or you get to the mountain and you're like, wait a minute, this is it?
That's it.
And then you think about all the time of down at the bottom of the mountain of like all the trials of like being in your way, self-sabotaging, things not working out, worrying, just getting the best in your head. And you're like, wait a minute. And you're going to think of all the ways of like, why did I make such a big deal out of this?
Yep.
Wow.
And another thing to tie in what I was saying earlier, I was thinking about this today. And I think this is the thing people don't understand about doing something. The reason why you have to keep doing it, not everybody is one of those people. Your first thing is just
absolutely
gold.
It takes time for consistency. Yeah, I think a lot of us are so hyped on launch dates, which are great, but they happen. But you got to keep doing it, and that's definitely something I really admire about you, Sam. Like consistency that's your bag.
I appreciate it.
That is your bag. You be consistent with it.
But the thing about like, and I'll say this with you, and what you and my brother show me all the time is sometimes the ego is, look at what I got, look at what I got, absolutely. Look at what I'm doing.
I'm announcing y'all coming soon. Stay tuned.
Exactly.
People love to stay tuned you all day. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's 2 years later. And they like, hey, bro, remember that such and such you had? You like, no, that ain't work out, bro.
But the other part about that y'all have shown me too is it's okay to not put yourself on a clock and just create and allow the creation to build. Because I'll be like, I got to get this out.
What's the time? What is this time that we put on ourselves?
Yep.
What is this?
Because in my head, I'm like, man, if I ain't dropped something this year, I failed. And what I'm learning is you have to allow yourself to live and get healed enough to where if you're not healed, your art is always going to be missing something.
I think healing isn't linear either. I think it's levels to it. I think you're forever growing, forever healing. And I think it shows in your work too. Say I wrote about a book when I was mid in my addiction, totally to now you see like, oh, okay, she went on a journey, So yeah, it ain't linear, but you're totally right. Yeah.
But I think part of that also comes from where we went to school at, and I can't say it's any different for anybody else. But I
Hmm.
know where we went to school at, we would kind of. I think for me, I always want to feel like I made it to people I went to school with.
That's understandable. Your peers, your colleagues, absolutely. The ones who grew up and seen you as you
Oh
and see you
Lord.
as this adult who's like grown. Yeah, it's kind of like,
you
wait,
know,
that's Solomon
that's
who
the
was,
that's the,
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
disconnect of
yeah,
people who met me 13 years ago at Fort Valley
yeah,
and who see what I post now and they're like, "What?
yeah,
Like you were
yeah,
never this empowered or bold or." And
yeah.
I'm like, people grow,
That's the beauty
and
of blooming, man. Yeah,
that's the beauty.
so beautiful.
But you've said a lot, and I think the big thing that you're speaking from is a place of I've done this, I've
I've
been
done,
here.
yeah. I ain't talking this because I'm trying to sound cool. Because you got your people who like to make these big words and use the hands and act like they saying something. And it's prolific, and you got it. Like, no, I'm telling you because I done this shit. Rock
Facts.
bottom 3 times. Okay, I don't want to do rock bottom again. Could it happen again? Yes, but this time I'm aware of my part in things. So, like, yeah, I just feel like any way that I can share or help somebody, whether through sharing my story or resources, tools, anything, an alley hoop about a job, I'm gonna do that. Period. And I don't want to gain nothing out of it. And that's the other thing too. People think with that self, I could help. You could help somebody, and it helps you, and you don't even realize that. I don't think
Mm,
people realize that
mm.
because people remember when you help them. Like I've helped people in my past, just thinking like I wanted to help them, and randomly something comes through, and you like, I did what? Oh yeah, I was just doing that, but you just never know. You don't know. And that's how I believe in like the universe and like spirits and stuff. Like there be angels around
It
doing
do.
plays for you. Absolutely.
It does. And I mean, I think the big thing that, you showed me is just the importance of when you feel moved to do something, do it.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean that in regards to people. Cause
Yeah.
like I would see you post and in my head, I was like, I just need to talk with her.
Yeah. You could
You
have
know
you
what I'm
could have
saying?
reached out.
You
I don't
know,
know. I'm and then also too, um creatives get for me, I get a little nervous too, not with you, but like certain people who wasn't around and they come around. It's kind of like, well,
you
why you
have to be
coming
though.
around? It
You have
just
to
makes
be.
you like, well, hold on now, what you doing? Yeah.
You
But
have to be. And I think one of the things you said that I think we want to tell everybody, understand that as you're healing, it's okay to protect yourself and your
absolutely.
and your mindset and your energy and your emotion from
Yep.
people because
Yep.
people at the end of the day, if people know you,
Yep.
they're gonna take the time to understand.
Yep.
And if they don't know you, they're not gonna understand and they don't want to. So you got to protect yourself from
Yeah.
people that are going to
Boundaries
misjudge you.
too. Absolutely.
Exactly.
And also a big thing I'm learning too, like people are gonna project their shit on you. They are.
Mm.
because
Ah.
because I'm going to go
Mm.
because
Dog.
I'm writing this book called Jaded Gems and such didn't do it. They're gonna tell me all the things of how it's not gonna work out.
Mm-hmm.
But now I just look at it. I used to really get offended by that, but now I just see it different as someone like either they in pain or they didn't take the same risk, and it's okay. But I'm gonna be watching you because I'm not gonna have you around my circle like that. I don't do that. That's infestation right there. And that's not
Mm.
that's not to say like, oh, you're a terrible person. I don't think there's a good or bad person. I just think we all can be bruised by our past things. Like I'm
Yeah.
really getting to a place of that of just like this person isn't evil or this person isn't good. They are just who they are based off their experiences in life.
And one of the things you said that I think comes with time is that awareness. The more that
Oh,
I'm aware
absolutely.
of how I project, now I
Absolutely.
can see the projection. So
Yeah.
people will say things like I tell my fiance, I feel like they said something about me. Then I'll be like, maybe I'm reading into
Assuming.
this
Yeah.
way too much.
Yeah. I have to check that too. Yeah.
And I'm like, even if
Yeah.
they did, they're saying it from a place of ignorance
Right.
or jealousy.
Right.
But either way, it doesn't serve me being
It
angry
don't
at them.
serve you and it's don't serve you and don't define you. Like I like constructive criticism, but also I'm clear on like just because they think that of me or just because they feel this about my notes, I'm still gonna not. I still should not. I should
No.
not. Should not let that define me of who I am as a character. I think that's another thing this COVID especially has taught me. That could definitely be a different episode. But just like how like I want to be more, I want to be detached from the possessions and material things. So
Mm,
if God was to give it to me or take it away, I'm cool because
it
I
wouldn't
did the
matter either
self
way.
work. Because I did the
Yes.
self work. That's what matters to me. If I do the self work, whether I get to this imaginary mountain of being this writer that I want to be or not, I still got me. Because I didn't let the hands of people or producers or these A-list people or these New York Times bestsellers define me. Like I had did
No,
the
I agree.
work. Yeah.
And I think the one thing that you said that I've always tried to tell people, God gives you the ability to create. It
Yeah.
don't matter how people think it is. That
Yeah.
ain't up to them. The
Yeah.
fact that you can create something is
It's
a gift
amazing.
in itself.
It is a gift. It's really a gift.
You
It's
know,
really a gift. But it's just like that time of just for me, my biggest struggle is just like giving that time and going to that creative space and really putting my head down and doing it without this whole outcome. And excuse me, I've been working on that too. Just like just put your head down and work. Don't and also too, like I used to really overshare like I'm doing this, that, and the third.
mm-hmm.
Not even on it, also on the internet. I really used to do that when I was in news. I was like, we're here, we're there, we're here, we're there. It's like, girl, it was just me screaming, like, please, somebody look at me and tell me that I
Mm-hmm.
did right.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's also even like with friends too. It's like we can share stuff with our friends, we can share our goals, but we don't have to share everything.
You know,
I don't have to tell you every chapter I'm working on or everything I'm working on for you to give
you,
your opinion. I don't have to do that.
you and my fiance, thank you, Black women,
Because guess
for
who?
teaching me that.
Because guess who know your dreams? You and God. If he the one calling
Who gave it
shots,
to you?
why I need to tell you everything?
And you know, like I said, you and my fiance, thank you, Black women.
Black
Y'all have
women,
hammered that into me.
black women, black women. We need a
Nah, that's
Geo
cool.
black
We're gonna.
women section. Black
I'm about
women,
to
black women.
say, insert noise, like insert the sound, like.
Yeah.
But no, like
Yeah.
that's been the thing she's told me because I've had different things happen this year, and I didn't tell some of my closest friends, and that's not like me because I'm usually
Yeah.
like, if you my people, I'm gonna tell you.
Same. I let it all out.
And she was just
Yeah.
like, they don't have to know everything you do.
Oof.
She's like, it's for you. Keep
And
some
then
things
like
for
when
you.
people tell you things of like suggestions of what you could do, I can't lie, it's like, oh. But then it's like when you get time to again let that ego get out your way, it's like you might be
Makes
on
sense.
something.
You
Yeah.
know, and I think where I've been this year is learning it's okay to have things that I just struggle with myself that I don't tell her.
Oh, the ooh that came out was knowing exactly what you're talking. Oh my goodness. Yes.
You know,
No one needs to know.
yep. And I've made my
Oh,
peace with there are some things no one needs to know,
oh,
and it's okay. You know, and
oh, that was a good one.
there are some things that I journal about, and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna journal this. I'll leave this between me and the maker.
Mm,
He'll fix it in me. You know what I'm saying? Or we'll talk about it
yeah,
when I get there. And
yeah,
then other things I don't tell her, but I'll put in my journal and I'll say,
yeah.
maybe she'll read this one day. Maybe my
Mm-hmm.
children will read this one day. They'll have a different picture of me.
Yeah,
But they'll get,
yeah,
I think the big thing I'm learning, you got to define who you are to yourself and be okay with who you know yourself to be, not
Ooh,
who they say you are. Because
yeah,
people are always going to pick a part of you to say that's all of you. Like
yeah.
they're going to pick the worst part of Brie and be like, this is you.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's the thing too. When you grow, my biggest thing that's hard is the people in the past that I did hurt and cause destruction to, and
Mm,
absolutely taking accountability ruin relationships. And to know that they knew me at that time, what was hard for me was to accept that they
that was
might
you.
still see me as that, and
Yep,
that was also me at that time. And
that
if they
was it.
still see me as that, that's on them. But I cannot hold the guilt of what I was then. And like a therapist told me, that's all you knew at the time.
That's
I
it.
ain't know I needed to heal. I ain't know I needed to grow at the time. It's what I knew. By the
And
fight.
that's like I was telling you about the young lady. She literally told me, she said, what other people holding on to how you did them is their problem, not yours. She was like, and you are being, you're stuck in your own ego to think that
Yeah.
it should matter more to you than it mattered
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah, it
She was
mattered
like,
to me a lot because I felt like, oh, I'm growing now, but I'm probably a fraud. What if
mm-hmm.
what if they cross somebody else who knows? Then they're gonna say, oh, that ain't the Brie y'all know. And ego.
And what does that even mean? The Brie I know. That's and that
The
you know that
person they
used to
met
get
at
me.
the time. Oh, I was off the. When I look back, I was off the chain. Like honestly, I'm not surprised somebody didn't like really fight me because I used to be off the chain with that mouth. Like sarcasm, just slick with it.
Nah, but I mean,
But
even
we
with that,
all have our flaws,
we
yeah.
do.
So
And I, to piggyback off that, like people meet us at stages in our lives and assume that's who we are. You're consistently changing. Who you were when I talked to you today and who you're going to be tomorrow is completely different.
that's like when people are like, "Would you go back to college?" I'm like, "No."
Mm-mm.
Would I go back
I've,
to
I,
high school? Absolutely
I've
no.
evolved. I'm not in
Can't.
that mind plate. It's mind
Mm-mm.
state no more. And I couldn't think
Mm-mm.
how I think now back then.
Absolutely not.
It took certain experiences that I write
Man,
about and that I haven't wrote about. It takes those experiences to shape it. And the biggest thing that I was blessed with was realizing I'm not nearly as good as I think I am, but I'm not as bad as I think I am either though. I'm not
that's
perfect.
awareness. Yeah,
I really like, oh, you ain't shit for
yeah,
that. I want you to know, Sam, you
yeah.
ain't shit for that.
Cause I
But
used to
then
act like mine stink, knowing it was stinking up everywhere, and I was
that was
like,
it.
"That's not me. That's them. Man, I ain't got no problems. I'm cool. What's y'all problem? Any problem y'all got with me is y'all problem. It ain't got nothing to do with me." But it's like, no, girl, you actually stink.
That's it. And that's it. You have to do some stuff and you have to get in the car and be like, oh, you ain't shit. You really ain't shit. But then there's some other times where you gotta tap
Yeah,
yourself and be like, but it's okay though. You growing.
absolutely.
It
You're
ain't you
growing.
ain't really bad. You fucked up. You
Yeah,
made a bad choice,
yeah.
but you okay.
But we're human. We all gonna like this person. Like again, I'm super a perfectionist. That's learning not to, which is a daily another ego and perfectionism are my two. That really just ego, perfectionism, and self sabotage. Things I have to really check on a daily basis because I'll get in my way, or my ego get the best of me, or I'll be like, oh, I can't do such and such because it's not black or white. It needs to be black or white, or I can't do it. Just like us starting this, is I'm just so happy that we just started it instead of like we gotta have a set of all these people. We gotta have the lights. We gotta have the
Yo.
microphones that cost $1,000. We gotta have all this, Sam. We cannot start until we have all of this.
But
Like, no.
the other side of it is y'all teach, you're teaching me the importance of, yeah, you can do it,
Yeah.
but also understand you don't
Yeah.
have to rush it.
No. Yeah.
You do need to take steps,
Yeah.
but you can also say, you know what? I took my first step. All right, I don't
Yeah.
need to be at the end already though.
Yeah.
Enjoy the journey. I'm trying to learn to enjoy the journey of creating and doing
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, because the journey of that process of making something and then the final of it is beautiful. And it's just like, but again, so caught up on like the outcome. It's like, dang, did I even get to enjoy the process of how this was made? Like the days
Exactly.
I was writing it on my whiteboard and staying up all night and trying to get these characters out of my head and
If only
speaking
y'all
in their
knew.
tone and writing their character problems and flaws. It's like that's fun in the journey. It's
And
really
that's the
fun.
part people don't know. But
Yeah, they live in your
yeah,
head. They live in at least my
they do.
ideas live in my head. Sometimes
They
I can't
do.
go to sleep because of it, but
They
yeah,
do. And but that's what, to tie that all into what we saying, through death grew conception. Like we
I
became
love how you did that.
alive because we had to die. Like ego,
Yeah, absolutely.
social deaths, like
Yeah,
I died some social deaths this year. My ego
yeah,
died sometimes before. My
yeah.
sense of self died as well. But I
I
was
agree.
reborn with a more like a confidence of I don't need you to validate me on that one.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
feel you on that because I feel like thank you for saying bringing that back because I feel like I'm just in a place of having genuine confidence and self esteem for myself.
I can see it.
Really self-esteem and confidence. Like I was fronting about that, like telling myself, like also like, oh, self-love, I love myself. I tell myself this is gonna be. It's like, no, it takes effort. It takes work. So like, thank you for saying that, because it's true. I had a death too this year. It was just like all this of what I wanted, why I was doing writing, my reasonings, the way I was going about it is just like totally like, if I can, like you said, if I can just get, if, and not even that, if I don't, let me check myself on that, because that
Nah,
might
that's
not
real.
happen. I need to just write because I want to share my gift. Woo!
That's it. That's
That's
it.
hard. That's
And I mean,
hard. That's
it is.
hard.
It is,
It's
but
hard because I want to
we
be
want
on
it.
the stage, right? But I had to check myself because it's like there I'm go having this outcome again, like saying, God, but can you but it's like no.
And I think the big thing I want to tell people, it's okay to be attached to wanting an outcome, but
Yeah,
just understand like
it ain't, might
the
not be that.
outcome ain't why you do it, and you're gonna have to die a couple times. Symbolically, your character might die. People gonna
Yeah,
assassinate your character. You
yeah.
might die your sense of your identity. All that's gonna die, but you're gonna
Mhm.
have something better in the process, and you can't be afraid because it's gonna happen anyway.
It is. It's already written. It's gonna happen. It's just me not having patience, wanting to know what. Just show me the outcome, please. Give me a little peekaboo, something to keep me
Man, what are you
going. That's
saying?
what I tell myself. Just give me a little peekaboo so I can at least see.
But
But I don't know.
I think that's the beauty of seeing other people create, though. Like when I see what you're doing and other people, it just reminds me it's like a sport. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
You may not be LeBron James, but you're in the game in your own way. And as long as
Right.
they're dribbling the ball, just go dribble the ball and see where it goes. Just keep dribbling.
Yeah. That's the part. Consistency. Keep dribbling. Yeah. Because the writing I'm trying to do is like a lottery ticket, literally.
It's
But
like that.
it's
But
also like, do you want it? So yeah.
the other part that that you're showing is important is it's okay to keep dribbling, but
Yeah.
sometimes you got to know when it's time for you to just go in the back and stretch and
Yep.
take care of your body.
Oh,
You know what I'm
oh
saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Take a water break. Get some
Take a
Gatorade.
break.
Get some Gatorade. Yep.
That's it. That's
Don't take
it.
you. Go get a stretch. No, you
You
ain't gonna go
know,
out this time. Just relax.
it's okay. And but like I said, once again, we're both just giving you our perspectives.
Yes, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. Any gem you want to leave them with? I feel like we dropped gems, but just something for them to just
Um,
sip on, or marinate for this week until our next episode.
I think the only thing I would tell people is think about a moment in your life recently where a part of yourself was lost, and take the time to just think about it, and then but think about what it was replaced with, and just kind of give yourself a pat on the back. Like, I went through a tough time with this. This killed a part of myself, but I lived through it and I'm happy with it. So, what about you?
Mine's would be anything you do, have an intention behind it.
Mm.
And the last one is Clout doesn't pay the bills.
Ooh, keep dropping. Oh, Clout doesn't pay the bills though. They do anything for Clout. Oh, they do
Mm-mm.
anything for Clout. Woo!
This has
I know
been
I had it.
fun.
No, this was fun, and
Oh,
I
early
just look
happy
forward.
holidays to everyone too that celebrates the holidays. We were gonna do a holiday episode, but we freestyle on here, baby.
We freestyle. We just had to do it.
Freestyle.
We had to do it because we didn't want to get trapped into perfection. You know
There
what
we
I'm
go.
saying?
Absolutely.
But no. Happy holidays, y'all. Enjoy your time with your family. If you are still among the living, you're winning.
Mm,
If you got a place to stay, you got food in your belly, you got gifts under your tree, you can give gifts to people, you're winning. Focus on
absolutely.
that.
Be of service, y'all. If you can,
Oh,
anyway, be of service.
that's real. That's real. That touched me. So,
And we out.
and we out. Peace.
Peace.